everybody, it's probably time to make one of the most important FTRs I've ever made that does not involve personal growth, but is obviously still advice. This is about how to save money. You'll all know that I made a video called How to Save Money back in 2019, but that video needs to be majorly remade because not only did I only make 4 points in the video, the first point took me 6 minutes to make. I don't even know why. So, while the video was technically true, it just wasn't good enough and didn't have enough points. So, today, especially to adjust for the fact that it's 2024 and pretty much everyone is like fucking homeless and starving and can't afford fucking anything, I thought I would give you all tons of money-saving tips and scenarios. So let's just get right into it. The first thing is, like I said in the original video, you should always be buying older things and not buying modern stuff, just as a general rule. As you know, and I proved it in this video right here on the screen called Truth About Old Products versus Modern, I talk about and prove how older stuff is just in general better. Not only does older stuff last longer, but it's also more durable, and of course if you're buying it now, it's cheaper. You take clothes, for example. You buy older clothes at a thrift store, you're paying like $6 per shirt. You buy brand new clothes, you're paying like $50, $60, $70 per shirt and per pants. Before you say, yes, but the clothes at thrift stores are old and dirty. First of all, wash them. And secondly, yes, they're old. Previous people have worn those clothes. But it's not only cheaper, even if it was less durable, it's still cheaper. Plus, it's more durable, actually, because like everything else, older stuff lasted longer. It's not like today where you own a piece of clothing for 6 months and you gotta throw it out. Back then, back 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you could wear clothes for years at a time. This applies to everything. Like, the last 5 years, none of my shoes have lasted longer than 6 months to a year. But as a kid, we could all wear shoes for over 10 years. Everything older just lasts longer. Furniture, for example. Everyone knows that modern day tables, chairs, couches, desks, shelving, everything today, you're getting like an average of maybe like 8-9 years out of something, right? You have a couch for like 8 years before it starts like creaking and like legs are breaking, whatever, the material's ripping. Computer chairs, they don't last very long today, 5-6 years tops. But back in the day, people were able to buy furniture and it would be in their house for like 35-40 years. That was normal. If you don't believe me, ask your grandparents, and I prove it in this video. It's just all about buying older stuff that lasts longer. And again, even if it doesn't last longer, even though it does, but even if it didn't, you're still paying less. Like, for example, every single thing in my apartment, literally everything, including the fucking chair I am sitting on, was bought at thrift stores or secondhand or buy and sell online. That includes going to literal thrift stores, buy and sell, if you're doing like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, where you buy things that other people are selling. You know, as opposed to buying a brand new couch for, let's say, $600, you buy a couch for $100 that some random guy is selling online. Instead of buying a shelf for $300, you go on Facebook Marketplace and find somebody who's selling their shelf for $20. These are very obvious things. So make sure, step number one, if you're buying things, whether if it's clothing, technology, furniture, always buy older, or at the very least, things that people are selling because you find it for dirt cheap, and of course, again, it lasts longer because it's old. Next is to always make sure that if you are buying clothes, even if they are new, don't buy brand name. A lot of people actually believe that brand name means that it's better. No, that is objectively false. All that brand name means is that you're paying extra for the brand of the shirt. You're paying for the logo on the shirt. You're not actually paying for the material to last longer or whatever. You're paying for a logo on the shirt and quite literally nothing else. So stop buying brand name stuff, or at least buy brands that are cheaper or brands that have been put into a thrift store, etc. The next one is, and this should be obvious, but a lot of people don't know, stop buying Apple products. Just as a whole, stop buying Apple products. Everybody should know that everything that Apple sells is, of course, very, very breakable because it's modern, and Apple, even worse. But also, you're paying like triple the price just because Apple are marketing geniuses and they are taking advantage of you, the conformist and consumer, who wants to buy an Apple product just because the media told you to, or because your friends told you to. Apple is not it's straight up, Apple is not a company where you buy things for the product or because they're good. You buy it because your friend has it, and you feel like that owning a cheaper phone or an Android makes you look like a loser, when in reality the real loser is the person who spent $3,000 on a phone just because it's an Apple product. And it's not just about modern shitty technology, and it's not just about the fact that it's Apple, but it's also about the fact that it's a phone. Bro, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's a phone. Who fucking cares how expensive it is or what it looks like or what it can do? It's a phone. It's meant for phone calls, apps, texting, games, I guess. Get a phone, get any fucking phone, and as long as it works, you're good. And on the same merit, again, this is more about like delusional consumer crap because you're young and dumb and want to waste all your money, and you've been brainwashed into wasting all your money. Just think about how many people, probably even yourself, who buys a new phone every 6 months, even if you don't need it. And why did you buy it? Oh, well, because the newest phone is out and I have to have it just because it's newest or because my friend bought it. Again, if you want to save money and be an intelligent person, as long as the phone you have in your hand still works, you don't need to buy a brand new phone just because Apple released one. You really don't. And you also don't need to buy a new phone just because your friend did. You really fucking don't. Keep your phone, it works just fine, and you'll save tons of money. And also this applies to other electronics that people don't need. For example, let's go back to Apple. Do you really need an iPad if you have both a phone and a computer? No. Do you need an Apple Watch? I don't think anybody needs an Apple Watch. There's no reason to have a phone in your pocket, an iPad in your backpack, and an Apple Watch on your wrist. What the hell are you, a robot? Like, mentally, sure, but ask yourself why you need all three items. Sure, you can have one or two, but why do you need all three? Just to waste your money? Because society told you to? Because Apple's selling it? Because you saw a commercial? Because your friend bought it? Use your brain. Nobody needs an Apple Watch. If you want a watch, just buy a generic watch. No one needs to spend over $1,000 on an Apple Watch. You're being brainwashed as a consumer. Think carefully about what you're buying and why you're buying it. And again, on the same merit, this also applies to smart home gadgets. They're useless, they're generally meant for lazy people, they're extremely expensive, and they break easily. Everything from smart refrigerators, smart garage door openers, Google Nest, Alexa, those lunatics who buy insanely useless products like a smart water bottle, yes, shit like that actually exists. Random crap like that. The amount of money that you have wasted is astronomical. And again, this applies for several reasons. Number one, all of those products you don't need. Like myself, I don't own any smart home products. Literally nothing. Not that Ring doorbell, no smart home products. Because the question is, why do you actually need it? The question is, you don't. You can't name one that you actually need. These things are things that you want and things because you're lazy. No one needs an Alexa or a Google, like one of those like Google Nest things that people put on the kitchen counter, if you have a cell phone or a laptop. You don't need it. You want it. And you're wasting money. So it's like, sure, buy it if you are like a really fucking lazy person, but only if you actually have the money to do so. If you're a person who's actually struggling financially, you should not be going out and buying smart home products. You don't need a smart doorbell or a smart refrigerator or a smart water bottle or a smart watch, a smart Google Nest, an Alexa, and the list fucking goes on. These things are not only expensive, useless, directly, specifically, exclusively only meant for lazy or dumb people, but they break easily, they're modern, they're expensive, and they're not even useful as long as you have 2 arms and 2 legs where you can walk around your house and do things without it. You don't. You don't need it. The next category we're going to cover is food, and I have a lot for this. Never buy brand name food if you're struggling. Now, while it is cheaper than the no-name brand of food, if you're going to Walmart and you buy a Great Value brand as opposed to the name brand, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing to feel ashamed of by buying the Great Value brand of food at Walmart. Most of the time, like in most food products, you're spending like $2 less per item, and the item is usually in a larger package and tastes almost exactly the same. I'll admit that a lot of no-name brand foods do taste different, maybe even a little bit worse. but is it worth it to get less food in the name brand products and also spend like $2 more? I went to Walmart yesterday, and next to the Nutella was the hazelnut spread. It was that's all it was called. It didn't even have a name. It was just called hazelnut spread. It's literally just Nutella in a different jar, and the Nutella was $6.50 and the hazelnut spread was $4.50. It was the exact same fucking thing. It just wasn't called Nutella, and the jar itself was the same size. If you do that when you do your grocery shopping, you will be shocked at how much money you saved. The next important thing with food is don't ever buy bottled water. If you're a person going to the grocery store to buy like plastic bottles of water, stop. You are losing a shit ton of money. What you should be doing is buying a Brita filter that you refill in your sink like every day or whatever with the little Brita filters, and you use that for your water. And if you're like, well, what if I want water on the go? Then buy one reusable plastic water bottle like this and fill it up. It's really not that complicated. You waste hundreds of dollars a month if you are a person who drinks from plastic water bottles. That's just a fact. Next thing about food is don't buy seasoning in bottles. You know when people buy like seasoning for cooking, oregano, parsley, basil. You'll notice that you can buy like little plastic bottles of seasoning, or you can buy the little bags of seasoning. You really should be checking the difference in price, because usually the bottles have half the amount in them but cost triple the price. Yes, not double, triple. At least over here in grocery stores, I will see a bag of, let's say, oregano, and the bag will be $2.50 and have 70 grams inside it. The bottle will be $8 and only have 35 grams. Stop buying seasoning in bottles. I know the bottles look fancier, but you're trying to save money, are you not? Next thing is, don't eat 3 meals a day. I know what you're thinking, what? But Matt, I've been brainwashed by society to be told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, here's a fact for you. Breakfast is actually a literal fucking scam. I'm not even saying it's like this. It was actually proven. Breakfast is actually a scam. Breakfast food, especially cereal, actually makes you more hungry. And anybody will tell you that not only will you save money, but you'll actually lose weight if you eat one large meal a day, usually around like 2-3 p.m., and then fast for the rest of the day and into the next morning. Eating one meal a day is objectively obviously less expensive because you're eating once instead of 3 times, and it's even healthier for your body in terms of losing weight and fasting. So stop eating 3 times a day, or at the very least bring it down to 2 times a day and cut out breakfast entirely. If you must eat first thing in the morning as a result of waking up early because you work, you should be eating things like bananas and apples. If you're eating things like cereal, you are literally being scammed, because cereal is not only expensive, but it actually makes you more hungry. That is a fact. On the same merit with meals, now this next point only applies to you if you are a single person. This does not work if you have a partner or a family. It does not work. But what I noticed as a single man, so again, this strategy only works if you are single and you eat 1 meal a day. That's the only way that this works. But here's the truth. If you are single and eating 1 meal a day, it's actually cheaper to eat fast food. Yes, I am dead serious. This is the truth. I've checked on this for a long time. Groceries now are so absurdly expensive, most people, especially if you're buying multiple different ingredients, are genuinely spending more than $10 a day. But you can very easily go to restaurants that have like lunch specials. Like around me, there are tons of restaurants that actually have like lunch specials where they'll charge you like $10 for a meal, and it's a pretty big meal. That will actually be my 1 meal a day, which converts to, of course, $70 a week, which converts to only $280 a month if you could stick to a budget of only eating once per day and keeping it floating around $10 a day. No joke. But the thing is, most people are spending like $300, $400, $500 a month. But again, keep in mind, this only works if you're eating 1 meal a day, because if you're eating out 3 times a day, you're fucked. It's not going to work. And of course, if you're feeding a partner or a family, you don't want to be buying 4 $10 meals for you, your wife, and your 2 kids. Or even if you have a partner, that's $20 a day for you and your partner. This only works if you are a single person and you eat once a day. But if you are, You should be doing this because it actually works. But make sure that when you go to a restaurant to eat out, you're not spending $20 at McDonald's. It doesn't work that way. You must be finding restaurants that have like those $10 lunch deals that will actually fill you for the entire day. If you have restaurants in your area that do that, you will save money, just as I do. Another one is use food apps as often as possible. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, you should always be checking if that restaurant has their own app, and if they do, download it, because 7 times out of 10, they will almost always have coupons for either cheaper meals or even free food. Like, for example, again, I'm not sure where you live, but for me, most often, I see on the Wendy's app all the time a free fries. That's a good way to save some money, wouldn't you say? Again, not every restaurant has good coupons. McDonald's has some of the worst coupons I've ever seen in my life, but some restaurants have some great coupons for big meals for cheaper prices and even offering free food sometimes. Check on them. You'll thank me. Another good app, and you should download it. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. Pause the video and download it right now, because that's how important this app is to me. I don't even want you to forget by the time the video is over. Download it right now. Pause the video. Download the app called Too Good To Go. This app is fucking outstanding. What this app does is they are encouraging restaurants who at the end of the day would usually because you know how a lot of restaurants will throw their food away, right? Which is a horrible thing. This app encourages restaurants to not only not throw their food away, as in not wasting it, but what they'll do is at the end of the night, they will put their food on the app. You can actually put in your location so that restaurants that are near you come up, and they will say to you like, okay, store closing, you come and get $20 worth of food for $6. There are 4 restaurants right outside my apartment that actually are on this app, and I will very often go to them and literally, I'll reserve my bag, I'll get $20 worth of food for $6, and it is outstanding the kind of money you will save by using this app, and of course the restaurants are saved by not throwing their food in the dumpster. The only downside is you don't get to choose what food they give you. It's whatever's left over at the end of the night, and they give you whatever they want. But a lot of time you get something really good, and you're only paying $6 as opposed to 10 or whatever. So it's a great app. Download it. Thank me later. Next is, don't ever shop at expensive grocery stores just to make yourself feel special. There's no reason to be shopping at expensive grocery stores like Metro or Whole Foods. Suck up your pride and buy your food from Walmart. Just do it, or else you'll wind up broke. Next is, for all of you coffee drinkers out there, you might be thinking that your daily coffee from Starbucks is only $4 or $5, but after a month, that shit adds up. Stop going to coffee shops for your daily coffee. If you're going once a week to treat yourself, or you're tired from work, whatever, that's great. But if you actually need that daily coffee in the morning just so that you could do your job or whatever, or so you could wake up and you don't make your coffee at home because you're fucking lazy, you are wasting money. That $5 coffee at Starbucks, or even even cheaper coffee places, that shit adds up like crazy. If you can quit drinking coffee entirely, I actually encourage that. Just switch to water completely. But if you must drink coffee, make your coffee at home. Wake up 10 minutes earlier and make your coffee at home. You will save hundreds of dollars per year by doing that. Next is, stop using food delivery apps like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, etc. I don't know if you people aren't aware or maybe just don't care, but by the time all the hidden fees are put in, you are usually paying more than twice the amount of money for the food. It is completely absurd to use those apps. If you must use an app, at least use the app that is associated directly with the restaurant, because they usually have their own delivery service, and if they don't, oh well, don't order food then. Or at the very least, walk to the restaurant you want to eat from, or drive there, take the bus, whatever, and then eat there. And of course, you can occasionally use those horrible apps like Uber Eats, but I encourage you to use them as little as possible, and if you can, cut them off in various different ways by cooking more, going to the restaurant directly, or using the restaurant's own specific app. Do that, because you are spending, I think the actual rate is you are spending 2.4 the amount for the food just because you're using those delivery service apps. Stop using them. And then finally, the last one about food when it comes to grocery stores is very often grocery stores will actually have a clearance shelf where if the food is about to expire in a day or two, they'll put it on a clearance shelf and sell it for half the price. But Matt, the food is almost expired. Yeah, keyword almost. Buy it that day, eat it that day, and you'll be good to go. Or even put it in your freezer and it will last considerably longer. Buy food from the grocery store that's on that clearance shelf because trust me, it will save your life. Another big one is streaming services. First of all, instead of spending tons of money on Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Netflix, and various other apps, you can literally watch any show or movie you want in the entire world for free by using websites like hdtoday.tv. Again, it's hdtoday.tv. Yes, the site is covered in ads, but again, it's free and you're trying to save money, right? You can also use the free service for Spotify if you want your music, or do what I do and literally just listen to your music on YouTube. Or if that's not enough, you can also pirate things. And another thing that I recently learned is if you go to Google, you can actually type in index of and then include any show name you want. As an example, I used The Office. Now, this does not work for every single show in the world because I've tried a few different shows. But usually, if you type in the word index of and then the show name, the first link will send you there. Unfortunately, as of right now, the site's not working. I don't know why. It was actually working like 3 days ago. So I'm not really sure why this is. But it was working before. Point is, try it with a show that you want to watch. Type in index of show name and see if it comes up. If not, use HD Today. If not, there's other websites. If you type in on Google, another thing you can Google is, for example, you can watch, if you want to watch The Office, again, type in, what would I type in? Type in, watch The Office free online. Again, you may have to do some digging, but one of those links will send you to the TV show or movie that you want to watch. So wasting your money on things like Netflix and Amazon Prime, Disney Plus is not worth all that money that you're spending. And by the way, just a quick little side note when it comes to like digital media and streaming services and all that kind of stuff, I have a great video here called Digital Deletion is Making People Desire Nostalgia Back. Watch it because I think you'll learn a lot from it, but moving on regardless. A rule for life in general is assess your life. Are you still subscribed to some random magazine that you forgot about? Are you subbed to a streaming service you forgot about? Do you have an expensive phone plan where a cheaper one is available? You should honestly be checking. Call your cell phone provider, ask them if they have a cheaper plan than what you're currently using. Do you have a gym membership? Yes, I'm serious, you should be canceling it. You can easily find workout videos on YouTube that don't use gym equipment and basically get the same results. How often are you getting haircuts? Give yourself at least 1 extra week between each haircut, and by the end of the year, you'll be getting 2 or 3 less haircuts and therefore saving money. And keep track of everywhere your money goes. And yes, this applies to that $5 monthly sponsorship you made to some random kid in Africa. Be careful with what you're doing at home. Do you leave lights on all around your house? Do you leave water running unnecessarily? Do you leave technology plugged in all day? Do you flush your toilet 500 times? Do you throw away bottles like dish soap, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, etc. as soon as it feels empty? Because guess what? It's not empty. Take the lid off of those bottles, fill them up, well, no, halfway, put water in there, shake up the bottle, and you'll get at least 2 or 3 more uses out of that bottle. And yes, this even applies to toothpaste. With toothpaste, roll that shit up. There's guaranteed to be something at the bottom. And it applies to hand lotion. Again, cut the bottle open, roll it up, things like that. These small things, you may not see it now, but they do add up. If you are on a budget or in debt at all, do not even own a credit card at all. I've been saying for years that credit cards are evil. They are evil, and here's why. Credit cards give dumb people a false sense of security and make you believe you have money when you don't. A rule of thumb is, and I do this all the time, do not even own one at all. Or do what I do, only use your credit card if you can pay it back the same day. As in, like, you check how much money you have in your account. If you don't have enough money to pay the credit card right away, you shouldn't even be using it. A credit card is not extra money. It's still your money. It's just a false sense of security of it. But pay it back on the same day. That's what I do. It keeps you focused and allows you to build your credit score as well. My credit score is 870, so I know what I'm talking about. Trust me. And my final lesson is based on impulse spending. This is something I tried teaching my ex, who was a major impulsive spender, and I've taught other people this too. The same logic is used when you're cleaning your home and deciding if you should throw things out. Look at your stuff, like your clothes for example. Do you love that shirt when you look at it or try it on? No? Then throw it out. Same applies to buying stuff. Do you really love it? Do you really need it? Give yourself a day or two to think about the item. If you forget about it, you don't need it. If you still think about it, then go back to the store and buy it. But be smart. Look for cheaper options online, in either stores or online, or through buy and sell. Online, of course, meaning Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, and other buy and sell apps. So that's everything. This was a lot of work, but I really hope you guys take these steps into consideration. I promise you, if you follow all of my steps, you will save so much money throughout your life. And all the people out there who just waste their money on impulse spending or just simply don't know about the techniques, take what I'm saying, and combined, you can actually save up to thousands of dollars per year in your life. There's a reason why guys like me, I'm like about 70% of my total monthly income goes just to my rent, nothing else. And I'm still doing fine with savings in the bank and no debt. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about, especially because my dad is Mr. Krabs, and he kind of sort of trained me on this when I was younger. Or at least prepared me for it. Anyway, take what I'm saying, and for the record.